Okay, Nick.
Yeah.
Question I have for you, my young Caucasian friend from the mountains of Caucasus, is
Yeah.
what is one conspiracy theory that you believe but you were too embarrassed to publicly confess to? Do it in front of everyone right now. Confess.
What am I allowed to say?
Because I feel like you've got a couple of sick ones.
I've got some nuts ones.
You're a sick man.
Okay, so this is a very indented me one that I think
Indented?
I say indented like it comes from like deep within my weird brain.
Okay.
So
That's a new word. I didn't know that word existed.
What indented?
Indented.
Maybe it doesnn't exist.
Sometimes you make words up, but they sound real.
Because I just
And
say
you
it with so much conviction.
Yeah, and you know, throwback.
Yeah.
There was a word you said the other day, and we were at your house.
Oh, that
What
was
was
the
that
biggest
word?
win for me ever.
It was such a win for you. I was embarrassed for 3 days after you.
I'm so glad
After you put, and you know what I loved about you?
Yeah.
You said the word. We absolutely hosed you for saying this word. We're like, yeah, you made the word up, you idiot, you dumbass. And for 4 days you were silent. And then the one day, you just drop a screenshot of the definition of the word. And I love the ability, that the pettiness to harbor and hold that for 4 days and then release it.
Do you know how funny
on a random day?
I think I was in the lift at work, and I was like, and then I was like, hang on, I'm pretty sure that's a word.
Yeah.
And then I googled it outside the lift. I was like, it's a fucking word. Screenshot, make send. Yeah.
I was livid.
And then I don't think you guys reacted for a while.
No, because I was livid. I was just being livid. I didn't react. I was like, what the fuck? He was right. I'm
man,
embarrassed.
it felt so. The word was vacillate.
Vacillate.
Yeah, it was vacillate.
Because I was thinking you meant oscillate.
Yes.
Because it kind of is a similar type of word.
It sounds similar.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. Does oscillate mean the same thing as vacillate?
Oscillate means like to move back and forth.
Okay, so similar to vacillate.
Yes, that's why I was like, I thought you thought it. Anyway.
Yes.
So,
Okay, so my conspiracy theory is when I say that word Hannibal, what's the first thing you think of?
Hannibal Lecter.
Yes. So I have this theory because I like history and I like African history in particular.
Yeah.
And if I look at how African history was washed by
Washed or watched?
Washed.
Okay.
By like European colonialism and whatever, and you know, and I almost like feel like this gets crazy.
Okay.
There was like a in my mind there was a CIA conspiracy to wash over black determinism in America and all over, so that what they did was they made a movie about the most despicable murdering person, as in Hannibal, whereas Hannibal Barker was the African leader who led the elephants over the mountains and almost defeated the Roman Emperor.
Wow.
The Roman Empire. And he was like this phenomenal, amazing, incredible leader.
Wow.
And now if you ask anyone in the streets, if you say who Hannibal was, they'll
Yeah.
say this. So and then you say, how many ancient African or medieval African leaders can you think of? Most people will be like,
Not many. Shaka Zulu.
yeah, Shaka Zulu. And that's a guy
That's
from
it.
like 300 years ago,
Yeah.
you know? So, and that's like a
And Muramasa.
Mansa Musa.
Yeah.
But you would think there's a whole lot more of
Yeah,
them that
true.
we're not spoken about. So
Idi Amin.
the ancient great leader of the Buganda people. But yeah, so it's that's my weird thing that this.
That's a really good one, actually.
Hannibal.
I don't even think that's that weird.
Yeah.
Is it?
Maybe. Anyway,
Maybe.
That's my own one.
That's a good one.
I'd like to see if that's on Reddit somewhere.
Mine is probably, and this may come as a surprise or not, whatever.
Yeah.
Screw you guys. I don't care about you. I'll say what I want.
Yeah.
I'm starting to speculate that the moon landing did not actually happen. I know.
Wow. That's a big one.
I know.
I kind of.
But you know what the issue is?
Yeah.
Every time the more I read about it, the more uncompelling, or rather unbelievable it becomes.
Really?
Because one of the things, and this is one of the facts that makes me kind of, what pushed me over the edge,
Yes.
was the fact that after the moon landing, right, which happened like in...
But 1951?
Yes, 1960
1961
something, 60s, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
After the moon landing, as humans, we have never been back to the moon.
Never did it once?
Never did it once again.
Never did it again? Like, surely we would have gone one more time.
You would think
know?
like with the way technology has advanced, we would at least be like, this is not casual.
Yeah, it'd be so
Like,
easy.
we've done this before.
There'd
Let's
be
just
buses,
reuse.
there'd be buses going to the moon, you know?
We have never done it again.
And if you look at the history of it as well,
Yeah.
we're in a time where the Soviet Union and communism and America and capitalism are competing in such an unreal way, and they're both trying to show themselves up. So Russia goes to space,
Yeah.
America goes, fuck you,
Yeah.
we'll go to the moon.
Yeah.
But did they? I'm kind of here with that.
You know what I mean? So how are we capable? So capable, we could do it in the 60s with like, we were still like figuring out how microwaves work. We could go to
Exactly.
the moon.
Yeah. We
In
went to the
2024.
moon. We went to the moon before American football teams were like integrated.
Do you see what I'm saying?
They're like some American college teams that weren't
Wasn't it
integrated yet.
integrated?
But we got to the moon.
And in 2024, we have still not gone back.
Yeah.
2025.
That's so crazy.
So
I kind of buy for that.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know. I have my doubts.
Yes.
I have my doubts.
But also pushed it down 11.
Oh god, there's a whole rabbit hole of like
There's a
theories
whole,
around that.
that's a whole nother one.
Mind your goddamn business.
To go into what we're actually speaking about
Yes.
today.
Besides moon landings and
Besides
Hannibal
moon landing.
letters.
Exactly. We are going to talk about the tools of creating a business.
Yes.
What are the base things to use to start your business?
Oh, such
whether
a-
it be
such an important conversation.
different platforms, different technologies. Let's start off. What do you think with Now has been the most effective tool that you have used to get it going and make it the success
man.
it currently is?
I would honestly say, and one thing I've done, just to background it, one thing I've done very often, I'm sure you've done this, I think a lot of business owners do this, is you're often doing a lot of research on what can make your life easier, right? You're always like on Google, like, how do I, generate better marketing? How do I generate scripts? How do I generate a accounting model? You're always looking at things to make your life easier. So I've gone down many rabbit holes to try to figure that out. And I would say the singular greatest thing that I've stumbled upon and I've worked on, or worked with rather, has to be Canva.
Really?
And the reason I say that is, I think such an integral part of starting a business, running a product, running a service, is how that service and that product is perceived by the public. The reason is that perception is everyone's reality. Something may be deeply untrue, but if I can perceive it to be so, you may believe that.
Yeah.
That's just that's perception reality.
Sure.
Marketing is creating perception. If you can figure out a way to sell a product that may, for all accounts, be horribly boring or horribly lame, you have that many more eyeballs. Eyeballs generates interest. Interest generates pay or subscriptions, and that generates income and revenue. So I'll give you an example. The creator of a brand called Liquid Death, right?
It's like vape juice or something.
No, it's not. Liquid Death is water. Yeah. So,
Wow.
give me backstory. So this guy was basically, he was a rock star. He was a performer in a band, not a rock star. He was just in a band. But he noticed that what would happen is that when he was performing in this band, a lot of the guys that he was performing with would pour water into beer cans. Because it looked cooler.
Yeah.
So they'd be like,
They wanted to drink water, but
they
it
wanted to
looked
drink
like
water.
they were getting pissed on stage.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So they poured
sure.
into beer cans. And he was like, well, if that's the case, well, what if I just put water in a beer can and sold that?
Sure.
And just call it Liquid Death, put really crazy branding on the image and the box and see if that works.
Yeah.
And he did that. And he would go to every investor and they'd be like, no one wants to drink water out of a beer can. Like,
That's
that's
such a
just
dumb
a silly
idea.
thing.
Yeah.
The business is now worth $4.1 billion
No way.
today.
That is phenomenal.
Because he sold the perception of water being cool.
That's so crazy.
Purely by labeling, purely by branding.
He's literally selling water.
Selling water.
You could pour it out of the tap.
Out of the tap.
But he's selling it in because of the
In a
branding, what
cool-
it looks like.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
And it's such an important, integral part of a business. So Canva, as a tool, helped me tap into that. Because Canva allows you to create branding, marketing for your platform, and it's so nuanced, and the way they've built out the app is so tailored towards creators and towards business owners that you can really get into the fine minutiae and detail of creating a product. So that's without a doubt one of the greatest things I've learned, and I've thrown myself into it. I mean, I'm talking hours
Yes.
on this platform.
No, sure. And I've seen what you've done with it. It's phenomenal.
Well, thank you,
amazing.
boy.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's probably one of the greatest products I've ever had. This is not a promo for Canva,
plug
by the
for
way.
Canva.
Canva, pay me.
Although if you want to sponsor us,
Yeah.
Canva, you
Pay me.
more than welcome.
You owe me for that absolute flogging of your brand.
It's amazing.
and name.
It's a real. We can send that to him. I think it's actually a really interesting point, just in terms of branding. Before we go into Canva in particular, because I find Canva so.
You
great
also
as well.
use it,
I
but you don't use the
it
paid
all the
one.
time.
You little
I do-
cheapie.
I do-
Brokey.
I actually do use.
Oh, you do?
I do
Oh,
use a paid one.
sorry.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really worth it. I get it for free because I'm an NGO. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
So you don't pay.
Eh?
So again, brokey.
Brokey, but but I'm getting the good one. But just from a branding perspective, I walked past Five Guys yesterday.
Ooh.
Walked past Five Guys, and people love Five Guys. If I mention Five Guys, they go, "Oh, I love their burgers."
They say one of two things. They go burgers,
Yeah.
or they make a quirky joke about having sex with Five Guys.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
the
That actually comes up a lot.
Oh, yeah? Yeah,
It's like an orgy joke, and
Yeah,
it's like, "Oh, I love the
literally,
burgers."
there's
Yeah,
one or two
absolutely.
things.
I walk past this place, and I see see this full restaurant. It's pumping. It's packed. Families, dates, whatever's going on. It's just a room that's painted red and white. There's nothing going on in this thing. The service isn't particularly good.
Yeah.
The burgers are good. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like
I can 6 out of 10.
okay.
I'm not crazy about the burgers.
I'll take 6.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's another place probably 3 minutes down the road.
Oh, totally.
That's also pretty good.
Hot
you know?
take. I think McDonald's
This is a hot take. Good character.
has a better burger than Five Guys.
Okay.
In my ranking of fast food chains and burgers,
Yeah.
McDonald's is higher than the
There
Five
you
Guys.
go. So it is their branding. It's the
yeah.
fact that you hear about Five Guys in movies
Oh,
and
yeah.
TV shows and
Big
everything.
time.
Go, oh, we're going to Five Guys.
100%.
Where it's like this fucking empty. I've got another example. Sorry, one
Yeah.
more second.
No,
and we
go
can
on.
cut one of these if it's taking too long. But if I look at football in this country, in the UK in particular,
Yeah.
football, it's often raining, it's often cold. You go there probably like 30, 40 minutes before because you want to make sure you get your seat, you want to beat the queues. You get an overpriced hot dog or you get a beer, but you can't drink the beer at the stand. So a lot of the time, you're just sitting there either drinking water or not doing anything at all, watching this football game. It's 45 minutes. There's a 20-minute break in between so I can put my advertising on the screens where you can't see. There's another 45 minutes, right? You might go there for a 0-0 game. But because of the idea of the Premier League and what they've done with football in this country, the branding behind it is phenomenal. It's camaraderie. It's loyalty. It's about your family. It's about supporting the football club that your dad did. Every time I go and watch a Norwich fucking football club game, it's about honoring the fact, like this legacy I have with my family.
That's a really good point.
And that's what they've done so well with a product that's actually quite shit.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna piss a lot of
I'm going to
people
piss
for
off a
that
lot
one.
of people.
Yeah.
But if you really think about it,
Yeah.
it's a lot more. It's more about community than it's about the
I
actual
agree with
game
you,
in the
actually.
field.
I think it's a really valid point. Hot take, but valid.
Yeah, no, it's a hot take.
I think they do the same thing with the US. I think US even does it better.
Really?
Because US do something and they tap into a human instinct that I think a lot of people don't actually know they have, which is they tap into, actually they kind of do know they have, like the heroism of stardom and rivalries. So what the US, if you see how the US sells any NBA game, for example, NFL game, watch, and I want you to watch this, not that I'm telling you this, but watch like social media when you follow like an NFL team or whatever. They put 2 people, it's always about 2 people.
Yeah.
2 stars.
Yes.
It's never about the teams that they represent. It'll be like LeBron James versus Steph Curry.
Yeah.
And the branding will be like just those 2 guys.
Yes.
So the heroism of stardom.
Player first marketing.
Yeah. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So it's a thing.
It's a thing. That's what I do in my day job every day.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I thought I stumbled upon one of the. Not me being like, I think I made something. No, okay, it's a thing.
I never actually want to talk about my doing my day job
Okay.
outside of this. But I mean, in terms of what we do in the unmentioned place that I work, it's a lot of it comes down to you are more likely to watch a sports game because of the player competing than because of the love of the team. And that's why I think almost the Premier League has done it really good because you don't watch Spurs to watch Sun. You watch Spurs. Son.
Isn't SON?
I don't know, Son. Nice, Son. So if you know soccer.
That's all you need to know about Nick's football knowledge, by the way.
Yeah.
He absolutely cussed out the whole Premier League. But yet he does not know how to pronounce a key star player within the team.
I can pronounce soccer. I'm gonna say soccer. You're not going to, like, most of the time, you will watch soccer, obviously, but you also, because you love Arsenal.
Yeah.
Whereas, for example, almost every single South African NBA fan I know, they support the Lakers.
Oh, yeah.
Because of
LeBron James.
Oh, like, exactly that. And they supported the Kentucky
Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs. What's it? The Kentucky Cloisters. Who did he play for before? Like the random team? Cleveland
Cavaliers.
Oh,
Cavaliers.
yeah. You know, they supported it because of LeBron James. You know?
I'm that person.
Oh, I'm describing you.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's me.
It's all my player first
I only support teams that LeBron James plays in.
Yes.
By the way, I'm a fervent LeBron James fan. I have had...
Yeah.
Because I have a housemate. I had a housemate who was American. I have had 2-hour conversations, vigorous, anger-fueled debates about how much better LeBron is than Michael Jordan. Yeah. And I will die on that hill every single time. Eh?
Hot take.
It's a hot take. I don't even think it's that hard to take.
Is it?
No.
He's got more rings.
That's just don't let me go down this rabbit hole.
And I knew what I was doing as well. But should we get back to Canva?
Tools.
So we can go back to tools.
Yeah, what's your tool?
I would say genuinely, and this is a bit of a cop out, but ChatGPT has been unreal.
That's so good.
But it's been phenomenal.
You're so right.
It's so good.
No, you're so right.
It is, like, in terms of even from creating documents, from a legal perspective, to creating contracts, to what I do for copy, to what goes out on social.
So right.
The amount of time it saved, it's almost a huge hot take.
Yeah. Why are we just dropping hot takes?
I don't know. This is the hot take episode. I don't know what he said, the Stephen A. Smith episode.
Yeah.
It's will I need copywriters in the future? Will the position of a copywriter exist in not even 6 months? Like
it's gone.
Yeah, it's over.
Why would I pay you to sit for 2 days and write something I can get in 2 minutes?
It's
silly.
insane.
But I will say the same thing. I'm a lawyer. I'll tell you this right now. I'm cooked. I'm cooked.
Yeah.
My job will cease to exist like the dodo ceased to exist in about, I would say, best 8 months to a year.
I love hearing the producer chuckle.
Yeah, in the background.
so good. Yes.
In about 8 months to a year. And there's lawyer friends that I have that are like, no, they need us. Our intelligence is, I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
What you don't understand is this, with going on tools and how important they are, is with ChatGPT, intellectualism has value.
Yes.
Right?
Sure.
And lawyers are deemed to have intellectualism with regards to the law.
Yes.
So why you pay lawyers so much money is because that intellectualism is valuable. It's hard to come by.
Yeah,
you study 4 years, blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely.
However, like anything of value, any commodity of value, with the progression and the advancements of technology, the value of that thing drops.
Yeah.
So for example, before the invention of the tractor, you had people plowing the land and sowing the land, right? So the value of wheat was quite high because there's people, you have to pay them, you got to house them, you got to feed them. As soon as the tractor comes in, which is the advancement of technology, it's a lot quicker, you can do it for a lot longer, a lot easier.
You don't need as many people working there to plow the land.
Exactly. Sure. So the value of that thing diminishes.
Yes.
Becomes cheaper. It's a cheaper commodity.
This is a great comparison.
ChatGPT, with the commodity of intellectualism that lawyers have and what people pay a lot of money for, made intellectualism They brought it to zero.
Yes.
Because it's so easy to come by now.
That's so interesting.
That you wouldn't pay, we've just said now, you wouldn't pay a copywriter, you wouldn't pay a lawyer to do something that you can get for £20 a month with the ChatGPT subscription. Why would you pay a lawyer £20,000 to do the same thing? It doesn't make any sense.
Sure.
So that's what technology does. Technology reduces the capital and the costs associated with the service to the extent that it's a zero-sum game. It's the race to the bottom. How cheap can that thing come? And what lawyers aren't realizing is that that's where we're at. And they're trying to stick this thing of like, no, we'll never, you always need us. But they fail to understand it's a zero-sum game. Our value is now being driven to zero.
It's crazy.
So the sooner you get out of those spaces, the better. And it takes us back to the point we had in our last episode. Start that idea today.
Yes.
Because if you do not pivot today,
It's over.
you are literally going to be the
dodo.
The dodo. You will be the dodo that ceases to make it to the next phase of life and evolution.
Absolutely. And it's never, with the tools that we have now, it's never been easier to start a business either, right? Like if you wanted to design something, even 10 years ago, like Canva was around 5 years ago, but it was a bit clunky, whatever.
Exactly.
Where the tech is now,
my God.
you can design an album cover in like 3 seconds.
Literally.
An Instagram post in 2 seconds. You know, it comes so quick.
Oh my God.
When it comes to writing a script, you want a script, ChatGPT can put that up in a minute. Less
A
than.
website. Remember what you had to do? Because we're old enough to remember back in the day, right?
Yeah.
What we had to do to develop a website was like you had to literally be savant.
Yes.
To be like, I'm gonna code. And I'm gonna
the amount of like ones and zeros and
Squarespace, Wix,
it's like just dropping shapes
dropping
into
little things, shapes. I like this color.
It's phenomenal.
Click.
Yeah.
So all of a
exactly.
sudden, you're a developer. You can
Yes.
develop a website just over a couple of hours.
It's phenomenal.
What you would have paid someone thousands and thousands
It's such a good point.
of brands to do.
And for now, like a Shopify, for example.
Oh yeah.
If you wanted to sell your wares,
Oh man.
you wanted to sell your wares, you had to go to
wares?
your wares. I don't know,
that?
like an old term thing for your for your goods. It's like if you're in Dungeons and Dragons,
Yeah.
you would have you'd say you sell your wares.
Yeah.
Anyway, but if you wanted to sell stuff, you have to physically take your things to go somewhere.
Oh my God.
And then we had online sales things.
Yeah.
But now like a Shopify, they'll set it up for you. You have your product. They'll do even parts of your marketing for you. It's never been easier to do anything like
Insane.
that. So platforms like that and something like social media, which I know you utilize a lot.
Yeah.
What do you think has been the value, whether it's brand building or
man.
converting clients? Where do you think the most value comes from using social for you?
Dude, again, if you underestimate the importance of these things, and I always say like, because you have those like salt of the earth people who are like, I don't want to use social media because I don't want to be in part of the rat race.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Sure.
Shut up. Our producer's laughing because he knows he's that guy. He's literally that guy. I'm so salty.
Insta.
You guys are so wrapped up in all these things. Influence.
Yeah.
Shut your little stinking mouth.
Tell him. He's over there.
Shut your little mouth.
Shut
What?
your little mouth. Yeah.
If you do not jump, it's like the internet. If you're one of the guys who's like, the internet's a fad, it's never going to stick around.
Sure.
You died.
Crypto.
Yeah, but your business ceased to exist.
Yeah, for sure.
Being intelligent and making smart decisions is about seeing 2 steps ahead. Where is the world going? How do I get either next to or in front of that wave? If you don't do that, you will be behind it and you'll be swept up by it. You cannot be above where the world is heading.
And I think it's so important, even if you hate social, from an ideological perspective, just to understand
that's my
the
point.
technology. There you go. You need to be on it. So you go, okay, how does TikTok actually work? How do you get those views? How are people using it to promote their businesses?
Dude.
How are they promoting their brand?
100%.
It's imperative to just understand. Like, for example, it's just another brilliant platform that you put me on is Captions.
Captions.
Which is like an AI generator.
Yes.
It can generate your captions for you, or like automatically cut your videos. It's honestly, they haven't paid us. I just think it's a phenomenal
really great brand.
bit of technology. So for me, when you first showed it to me, I couldn't actually work out exactly what use or worth it could have for me with Keshaw or with whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I knew I needed to be on it.
Exactly.
Just to understand what it's doing and how I could potentially use it in the
100%.
future.
And that's another thing, AI.
Yes.
Like people again of, no, it's going to take our jobs. If you keep on thinking like that, it will take your jobs.
Yes.
The issue is it's the issue with technology is not understanding or not the fear that it's going to take what you have. The issue is really what's going to take what you have is the people that know how to use it.
Absolutely. It's so funny you say that. I've had my last 2 jobs that before my current role, I wasn't fired for this, like I was saying, the last 2 jobs, but I had 2 positions that I had. In both jobs, they told me you use ChatGPT too much, you use AI too much.
Oh yeah,
which at
Idiots.
the time, idiots. Honestly, because even if I was using it badly at the time, the way I use it now is like I'm a wizard.
Better, yeah.
You know, I'm like a
dude.
I'm like Dragon Balls. I'm like Super Saiyan with AI.
Yeah.
And I needed that time.
Goku.
I'm like Goku.
Yeah.
Super Saiyan Goku with the white hair and
Blonde.
Blonde hair.
How did you just butcher that whole reference that you had?
What do you mean?
You first called it I'm Dragon Ball Z.
I'm Dragon.
That's not a thing. That's not a character.
I'm not good at quotes, and I'm not good at describing Dragon Ball Z characters. Do you know who's my best? Vegeta. I want to be Vegeta.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm Vegeta now with AI is
Yeah.
because I took that time in the beginning using AI to, when they were like, Nick, you use it too much.
Yeah.
You need to be doing this. I'm like, no. I'm going to get to a point where I'm so good at it, I can use it like crazy.
And you know those businesses are going to flare out. No, they will because they're not understanding a key tenet of a business is, you need to be in front of these waves. And if you have employees that can get you there and are doing those things, you need to not only keep them around, push them, incentivize them, develop them.
Yeah.
Don't do the opposite and push them out, because those guys are going to lead. Those guys are your trailblazers. They're going to lead the new frontier of where your business is going. AI, tech, you cannot underestimate its influence and importance. And now what you're seeing is a lot of job applications like AI
proficiency.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely. And you know what? It's something what I love having someone like you in my life, you know, and especially like Kanye as well, is people that are curious, people that are so inquisitive, you know, like, so for you, for example, you seeing how can I better now? How can I better what I'm doing? How can I make life easier for me? How can I make it more efficient? And then you find things like that caption platform, how to use Canva. Yeah. You're like a graphic designer now. You know, it wasn't what you studied, but now you're unbelievable with it. You know,
so many hours.
It's incredible.
What's the rule? Is it 10,000 hours?
10,000 hours.
Is that real?
Have you hit that yet with
Canva?
With Canva?
Maybe.
Close enough.
Maybe. Is that a real thing though? Apparently it's not.
It's not a thing.
Who made it up? Was that Malcolm Gladwell?
Malcolm Gladwell. Absolutely.
Is
it Malcolm Gladwell?
Outliers? Or did he steal it from someone else? Check that.
Yeah. Producer.
Do one thing, producer.
Earn your money, producer.
Our title ain't fact check.
Should use ChatGPT for that. But
check if Outliers is where it comes on ChatGPT.
I think it is.
I think it is. I think
it was that.
But did he make it up? Did he steal it?
I think he stole it. Not he stole it. I think he did the research.
He accused it and just involved it in his book.
But I mean,
which is also one of the greatest books I've ever read in my life.
It's insane.
Have you read it? I feel like you're just saying that.
I've read the first quarter and it was good.
Nicholas, you kill me.
Do you know
I don't read. That's basically what you told everyone. I read the first quarter. What is reading a quarter of a book? You're not doing a quarter of anything.
Do you know why?
I had a quarter of the sandwich. I'm good. I don't need to eat
and it was
anymore.
a great quarter.
It was a great quarter.
I didn't eat the rest, but I had the reason why I've only read a quarter is because it was an ex-girlfriend that I was reading the book with, and we'd read chapters to each other.
Ah, cute.
No,
and then we broke.
It wasn't Malcolm Gladwell.
Who was it?
The Royal Society of Open Science published this.
We get it. Royal Society of Open Science.
Yeah.
Okay.
So essentially, we'd read each chapter of the book.
Yeah.
And then we got the quarter through and we broke up. So she took the book with her.
So you stopped reading?
So I had to try and find another book. We didn't have Amazon in South Africa at the time. I couldn't get it so easily. So I stopped reading.
Guys,
I need to get
the theme of the story is when you break up with your partner, stop reading. Enough. Yeah. You've done the most.
If anyone has a copy of Outliers, please send them to
I do have a copy of Outliers.
To the Mind Your Business podcast offices.
I do have a copy of, and I will say this about that book. There's two books that I will die on the hill promoting. And you know the one that I will die on the hill promoting.
Oh, yeah,
Say
absolutely.
It. What is the
Phenomenal.
one?
How to Win Friends and Influence. It's brilliant.
Game changer.
Yes.
That book.
It's phenomenal.
It'll make you a living beast.
it's crazy how
Talking about tools.
Yes. Oh, that sticks within.
That's on theme.
Yeah, that's on theme. That's on. So I that book, because you write
I
for that book.
pushed that book. If anyone will listen to me, 20 minutes into a conversation,
Yes.
I'll bring it up.
Yeah,
We
you
could be
bring it
talking
up.
about the most random, innocuous thing. I like the way pasta tastes.
Yes.
And I'll be like, yeah, but have you read
When friends influence
how women influence people?
exactly.
No? Well, then, fuck
Yeah.
pasta.
My,
No,
my mom's fighting in a war right now.
Yeah,
but have
but
you?
Brit-
Would it really help her? Yeah.
because I know how crucial that book is.
Yes.
That book teaches you how to navigate humans. And if you can learn how to navigate humans, you learn the most essential part of running a business. Because business is humans. That's what it boils down to.
But you know what that book is?
What?
Because I read it. I listened to the audiobook after you told me it was so great, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was so good. A lot of it is weaponizing sounds bad. A lot of it is just utilizing empathy. So how are you being an empathetic person? So
I never thought about it like that.
it's kind of being like, okay, if someone comes at you at work and goes, Evander, why haven't you done this? I needed this 6 hours ago. Then you go from there. Then a big part of the book is like, put yourself in their shoes.
That's a really good point.
Why they're stressing out. Okay, maybe the work is all they have, so they take it really seriously. Maybe they going through a divorce at home.
really good point, yeah. There is a point, yeah.
There's not contempt behind their voice. It's more like, what is their real motives
Yeah.
with you getting that work out of you?
That is a good point. That's a really good point. That is pretty much what the book is about. But I think that, again, is something that, those things that are like known but unknown.
Yes.
Like things you when someone tells you, like, oh yeah, that's obvious, I knew that.
Yeah.
But then when you're actually doing your day to day, you don't do
Yeah.
that and you don't apply it. It's one of those things because running a business, you're often having to go, if I'm a consumer and I'm taking in what I'm doing, whether or not it's marketing, whether or not it's a product, whether or not it's a service, you need to deeply get into the suit or the shoes of the person who is receiving what you're putting down. And if you can get there, you understand how to frame or create that thing better. So books like that allow you to tap into it in a real upfront fashion, to really go there with how you view yourself from an investor perspective, from a partner perspective, from a consumer and user and retail perspective, which you can't get if you're just assuming it happens via osmosis. Like, oh no, I understand this just because I'm a human being.
Sure.
No,
It labels the behavior.
exactly.
So you go, oh,
Exactly,
hang on.
label it, yeah.
Yes,
That's a
you
good
label
point.
it. So like if you just, for example, if I just meet you, we say, hey, how you doing? How things go? What makes you excited recently?
Yeah.
Whatever. Whereas like that's kind of the label of it, like avoiding the what do you do for work? What is your routine?
Yes.
What do you like asking open-ended questions that help with networking and like things like that. Once you've labeled it, you go, we're avoiding what's your route to work? How's your work
Yeah.
going? How's this? So we know that we're going to focus on other more
Totally.
open-ended, better questions that are going to invoke a positive response from the
Yeah.
person we're speaking to. There you go. Now we've labeled it. Now we can work on it. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. That makes
Yeah.
total sense. So yeah, that book changed my life. How to read. Did it really
How to
change my
read
life?
people and influence.
How to make friends and influence people.
Yeah, no, that's a great tool.
Yeah,
I
great
think
tool.
that's
And the other one is Outliers. Outliers changed my life.
Really?
Yeah, because it
In
was
what
about
sense?
perception. Again, perception. Because the basic premise of Outliers, for anyone who hasn't read it, including Nick, is
I've read 25% of it, but yeah, sure, why not?
is that what you believe to be the case or the reason for success is often actually not what it is. There's actually outlying factors that contribute to success that people believe. So for example, I'll give you a little analogy from the book.
Please.
It was around age. Very interesting analogy. So one of the studies that they did was, why are very successful sports people often born in the first quarter of the year? So January, February, March. And they did a study on an ice hockey team. And they found that most people were born in the earlier part of the year. And what would happen was this, right? So because you're born earlier in the year, you develop earlier than the guys that are born later in the year, right? Because you just born earlier.
Yeah.
So the guys that are born in December, for example, haven't developed. You developed 10 months, or rather 11 months over them if you're born in January. So you get a little stronger, you get a little quicker, you're a little smarter. So when you're playing hockey, your coaches notice you more because you're just more developed. And they go, oh, that guy's quite good. And they go, cool, I think that guy should play in the A team. So you play in the A team. Then because you're in the A team, you're now developing more because there's more focus.
Yeah.
You're playing against better people, the coaches are better, you know. So there's more resources being put into you. And because there's more resources being put into you, you then get into like, you play for like the junior national team. Now you're in junior national team, now you're in a professional environment. You're learning more about professionalism. You're learning more about how to do, you know, or play the game the right way, et cetera, et cetera. And then eventually you go into the pros. But it all starts from something completely out of your hands.
So crazy.
Like being born in the early part of the year. And they did a study on like 300 NHL
But
players.
they did it on like NHL and swimming, and there was
Yeah.
like a whole. This is actually part of the book that I
Yeah.
read. There's multiple different sports
Literally.
that they tested on, which is phenomenal. And I mean, if you look at me and you,
I was about to say.
we both born. Were you born in December?
December.
But you still counted from the beginning of that year,
Yeah.
right? And I'm born in January. So where did we play? We were pretty good at sports. We played in the upper echelons of sports teams, and that's because we developed earlier.
I disagree with you on that one, actually.
Oh, really?
You were, and me and Kanye actually spoke about this. Our friends, we spoke about how good you were when you were small at sports because you were so much bigger than everyone else.
Yes.
You used to be really tall.
Well, I wasn't.
That has now ceased to exist. He's now no longer.
If you see me
Really
standing
tall.
up, not quite
No,
at all.
but we were speaking about. No, but we were speaking about this. We were like, Nick was really like, you were just a bigger kid
Yes.
than everyone else, and you were really fast. You still quite fast.
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
like just a better
fastest.
sportsman. Yeah.
Yes, I'm still really fast. Yeah. It's
Whereas-
useless in the day and age, but it's still.
Yeah.
I am.
Whereas when I played with my age group, so I was born in December, but I was born in December, but I did a year. I was held a year back when I first started school because Nigerian, whatever.
Just
When I
dumb.
came over, yeah.
Just a dumb kid.
Also stupid. But when I would play with the guys in my year, I was like one of the worst because I was December. So they were all like really good, and I was like not great. But when eventually they left school, right, and then I couldn't play with them because final year of school, you have to play with the people who you have to play with final year of school. That year, best year of sports. Because I was effectively older than everyone else.
And you done, to be fair, also done through the hard yards.
Done through the hard yards,
being
yeah.
being sucky at for so many years.
So I ran to school. Like I literally was the 100-meter sprinter for like, I was the number one sprinter in my school in my final year. Weird.
We probably race against each other.
No, I think you were in the UK then, no?
Eh? Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, it was. Yeah. If you were better, you would have run racing before your last year. Anyway, sorry. Carry on. Yeah.
I was first in basketball. Like I was all the things.
Yes.
I got full colors for athletics and
Wow.
basketball.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but full colors is like for people that don't know, it's like
yeah.
I don't know, whatever achievement. What is it? Full
I
colors.
don't even know how to
like,
describe it. It's
yeah.
like, you've done good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this
It's,
whatever
it's the
area.
biggest naughty badge.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's a gold star on the forehead.
Yeah.
Equivalent in South African schools.
It's like big, good.
Yeah. Good job.
Good, yeah.
Because of being older.
Wow.
So I basically had an advantage. That's basically what Outliers talks about. It's a great book of
Yes.
understanding and perceiving perceptions and how to use them to frame your thinking as to success. Because people believe like, oh, that guy's smarter than me because X, Y, Z. Oh, that guy's better than me. That's why I don't have a business. He's just better at talking to people. He's just better at interacting. And they count themselves out because they perceive something to be true. Whereas if you can understand, how do I frame things to be good at it because everything is frameable and everything is workable and I can get around it, all of a sudden, you have no more boundaries.
Yes.
So again, it's that labeling and understanding what the issue is before you can fix it.
That is such a good point. And I'm going to use the segue quite hard now.
Segue away.
I'm going to segue hard.
Segue away.
Because if you're going to talk about books, something that I've been doing recently, because I believe I'm going to be so amazing and great one day. Not
I
now.
believe you, amen.
No. But
No, you're amazing great right now.
thank you. You can't. But I've got this thing where I like to read books about
No, you don't.
great people. I do. I swear to God, I read. I promise. And if I think about the last 3 books I've read, it was about Suleiman, who was the Ottoman leader who took over but
Oh, yeah,
Middle,
good oak.
Middle Eastern.
So
Yeah,
then-
yeah.
Great guy.
Not such a good oak, actually, quite an arsehole.
was he? Ooh, my
yeah, quite an arsehole, but still great. Did amazing things. And then I've read the Simon Bolivar book, who was actually
Who's that?
phenomenal. He was
Don't go into a tangent. Just give me.
I'll give it to you like in like a bullet point.
ChatGPT.
He was
Shorter.
he was the Colombian leader that led the revolt against the Spanish colonialism of Spain.
Wow.
And this was like back in 1750.
Wow.
And from 1750, before it was cool, he was saying we cannot have a free Colombia unless all races are treated equally.
Wow.
So he was
In
talking
1750?
about 1750. So he was saying, like, this is like a white guy who was saying that like local people, like who were South America, as well as black people, no longer slaves, and Spanish people must all live equally. And he was phenomenal. And he led the revolution 3 times. He failed 3 times.
Now you're going to the tangent.
Sorry, but it's amazing. And I'm reading Shaka Zulu at the moment.
Are you?
He was an arsehole.
Oh, I will say this about Shaka Zulu.
But he's incredible. He's an unbelievable, innovative genius.
In a bottle? What is that word?
Innovative. Innovative.
In the beginning.
In the beginning.
I will say this about Shaka Zulu.
Yes.
I watched an incredible screening of Shaka Zulu show.
Tell me about that.
Our producer's father
Yeah.
is one of the most preeminent, incredible directors South Africa's ever produced.
Yes.
Like this guy's the real deal,
Phenomenal.
man. I think he's been nominated for an Oscar actually
Amazing.
for Long Walk to Freedom. Am I making that up?
No.
What was it?
Nelson Mandela biopic.
Oh, Nelson Mandela biopic.
Oh, okay.
Incredible director and filmmaker. And he made this incredible film in Shaka Zulu, and he had a screening for it.
Yes.
And he was very kind to invite me. Oh my God. You have to, if you like Shaka Zulu, you have to watch the show.
No, I
What is it
need
called?
to.
Shaka Ilembe.
Shaka Ilembe.
Shaka Ilembe. Because I really want to watch the show. But the thing is, I thought it was going to be a little bit boring.
Oh, so
I
you only
thought-
watched a quarter of it.
Because I thought all the cool Shaka stuff happened later on in his life. And then I started reading the book and I was like, this guy's whole life is amazing.
Wild.
And I always wanted to watch Shaka Ilembe, but now I'm like, I need to watch
gotta
Shaka
watch Shaka
Ilembe
Ilembe.
because it sounds
You
phenomenal.
got to watch. First Mean Girls.
Yes. No,
No,
I've seen
sorry,
Mean Girls.
Devil Wears Prada.
Devil Wears Prada. No Country for Old Men.
No. One thing I love about Nick, guys, Nick just makes things up.
Did you not? Was it
He just makes facts up all the time he does this. And he says it with such certainty and accuracy, and you're like, oh, yeah. If you
But I think I also need to watch No Country for Old Men. Apparently that's also very good.
oh my God, you have never watched No
I
Country?
haven't seen that either.
Okay, incredible.
Yes.
I'm being that guy that when people say they haven't watched stuff, he's like, oh,
you
can't-
gotta watch it.
Lame,
Yeah,
but you do
sure.
have to watch No Country for
Okay.
Old Men. It's really good.
I will watch it.
And There Will Be Blood, which is my favorite film.
Yeah, I'll watch it as well.
But yeah, Shaka. So yeah, you
Yeah.
like reading books
I
about
like because
successful
it
leaders.
shows me that these people, a lot of the time, just average, normal
Dude.
people,
Oh.
rose to create these amazing empires or kingdoms, or you know what I mean. And I like to think me as a normal plebeian walking the streets of London can also do amazing and great
I
things.
couldn't agree with more. And you know what also helps with that? Another tool is masterclasses.
Yes.
And again, YouTube. Masterclasses on YouTube.
Oh.
If you've ever wanted to go to a place, Masterclass is basically a platform that allows you to tap into people who have done something in a specific field that have obviously become masters of it. So like chefs, writers, screenwriters, filmmakers, actors. They choose incredible people like Aaron Sorkin as a screenwriter who basically wrote The Social Network. And
Get the Instagram ads actually.
yeah. And get the subscription because it's really worth it.
Really.
Because you basically, like you said, learn how leaders do things and you learn how possible it is for you.
That's amazing.
It doesn't seem as distant as far because these people are sitting in front of a camera and telling you, this is
they
what I
do
did, this is how I did it, this is what I failed at, this is what I was good at.
Yeah.
And it becomes so much more real. And that alone gives you the strength and the style to believe you can. Because again,
give me the most beneficial one. Who's the most beneficial one?
there was one on. There was actually one on. Aaron Sorkin's one is really good.
can imagine that one
There'll
being
be like random ones that you wouldn't even think, but random ones like that is actually the ones that actually like you're like, oh,
You're like, wow, that actually that was
yeah,
amazing.
and it's stories about just success and how to get
Yes.
it, and more like the idea of that alone is what propels you to do.
That's phenomenal. That's such a good shot. But on YouTube, YouTube's amazing because there's no excuse not to know anything these days. Because
Literally.
you can go
You're
like
just lazy.
Yeah, absolutely, you're just a lazy. No, but genuinely, like when it comes to like how to fundraise, you know,
Oh, yeah.
it's like YouTube. There'll definitely be a lesson on that.
Yeah.
Like how do you? But also, I mean, for me, and I think I've mentioned it before, a weakness of mine has always been budgets, always been numbers. Intuit QuickBooks.
Oh yeah, QuickBooks.
Incredible. You know, it's a great tool. You know, I've always found that to be super useful.
But even ChatGPT with Excel,
Yeah.
you can literally just do Excel easily with things like ChatGPT.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day,
Sorry, can I go into that? That has changed my life.
Excel, ChatGPT.
Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
now I just talk and I also just voice record.
Yeah.
So I say, make me a, take these numbers, put them into a thing. I want this column, this column, this column, destroy, bang, bang, bang. And it's done within a few minutes.
Quick.
Whereas before they would take you
Oh
like,
my god!
you know, you could take
Excel
you 2 hours.
was one of the greatest fears I've ever had.
Oh my God, me too.
It was crippling how difficult I felt
Yeah.
Excel was to master and understand. ChatGPT again, intellectualism has gone to zero. You don't need to be good at Excel. Just
such a good
speak
point.
into your phone,
Yeah.
and then you have an Excel spreadsheet.
To say exactly
How
what you want
wild
to
is
do.
that?
How crazy that
What
that's
world
we've
do we
come
live
to.
in?
I know, it's really weird. It's really weird that we live in this current world.
True.
What we always say is that AI is the worst it's ever going to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as good as it is now, it's going to be 10x better in like 6 months' time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to your point, it's insane. I've got a huge hot take on, I think Hollywood is done.
Oh,
I think
that's a massive hot take.
I think it's over.
Why do you say that?
I think because, and it's the reason why I like being in sport, because I think sport is the last bastion of unpredictable content and viewing.
Okay.
Because there's no way you ever going to AI generate a sports game, because the whole point of sports is you don't know what happens, right? Whereas I think,
False. There is this platform
Yeah.
in Russia where what they have is it's a gambling platform.
yeah,
They have about 60 different sports games happening at any given time.
I think I've seen this.
I'm sure you've seen this.
Yeah,
They've been
they play
viral.
like stupid games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's like grounded in real sports, but like in a dumb way.
Yeah.
But it's betted, and there's someone who dictates in real time who scores when,
Wow.
and people love it. It's like huge in Russia.
Okay, but I mean, I don't think there'll be a
Generally,
time.
I agree with you, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's gonna be like Manchester United versus Arsenal, and
Hunter Cronea would disagree.
no, I think we should be able to tell.
Shout out to my homie Hansi.
yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah, RFP.
Oh man,
But what I think.
that was such a South African reference.
I know it was.
Almost no one would understand what that
our
meant.
English viewers are gonna be like,
Like,
"Who was
what?
that?" But like, it was a good joke.
Yeah.
Just know that it was a funny
Fantastic joke.
Vander smashed it.
Clip that.
It's, but it's gonna be like Hollywood. You're gonna be like, what are my particular interests? You're gonna be like, I want a Guy Ritchie movie about Shaka Zulu, him falling in love with Zoe Kravitz, and there's like a lot of sex scenes, and Shaka Zulu's
Is
played
that
by
like your midnight fantasy? Shaka Zulu is always Saldana. Ah,
yeah,
sex scenes.
no, exactly. And Shaka Zulu is played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and it's like,
Who, by the way, hot take has no range.
yeah, he's got no range.
He's got no range.
He's got no
He could
range.
never play Shaka. No range.
But that's what'll be our movies, right? We'll
Yeah.
sit down. We're not going to go through Netflix. Let me find a movie I can watch. We'll just say, I want to watch this movie. Do this, and then we'll just go, and then we'll just watch this.
I disagree with
an
that.
AI generated movie.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
You don't think it's gonna happen?
No. Reason being is that like, I think really, maybe 10% of people are actually creative.
Oh.
I think that's why creativity again has such a premium. Because it's such a hard thing to tap into that people couldn't be asked. Rather, I want someone to develop an idea and create the movie and just let me sit in front of it. To sit and think of what you just, because you're a creative guy, to sit and think of like a really compelling, good idea that's actually going to compel me, myself, is really hard. Most people couldn't be asked. Most people, creativity is a leisure. It's like in the sense of enjoying creativity is a leisure. Like that's why you go to like a gallery in your free time. You go to theater. You go to a movie. It's like what you do in leisure times.
Yeah.
People don't want to work for their leisure. If you have to work for your art, it's like ugh. So that's not going to take off the way people think it's going to take off. It will for a small group of people who are going to go,
Yes.
I want to create things, but it's still going to be the people who are going to create things
I see.
anyway.
Okay, so from your point of view, it's like we're all just piggies, and whatever fucking Disney or Marvel
Yeah.
throws into the trough, we go.
That's pretty much
Because
what
we're like,
it is.
yeah, okay, cool.
That's
We're just
pretty
like,
much what it
we'll
is.
eat it up and we'll
Yeah.
pay £20 for the
That's what
for
it
the
is.
ticket.
But still, to say that the
Yeah.
creative people are still always going to be the creative people in the sense
Yeah.
of if you were going to create anyway, you're just going to
just
create.
gonna do
So
it.
it'll work for a subset of people. Fully agree with that.
Sure.
Like, it'll be easier to create things. But for the majority of people, No, we don't want to create things. We just want to take things in and indulge.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's really interesting. I actually don't agree.
Oh yeah.
I still
What
think
did
it's
what
gonna
did you what did I say
Yeah.
that was not agreeable? You bastard.
I'm just a disagreeable guy.
Everything I said was pretty much a flawless logic.
No, it was an amazing bit of
Yeah.
logic, and I
So what did you
completely
disagree with?
hear you. I just think that it's going to come to a point where they're going to make it. The fact that I think I was happier watching TV when I was watching SABC 1, SABC 2, SABC 3, and ETV. Those are my only 4 options when I was growing up. I think I was happier watching TV then. But I think
As opposed to what?
as opposed to having Netflix and Disney and now and this and
I call
whatever.
you a bluff. I think you're lying.
You think so?
I think you're totally lying. That's nostalgia. You were happy because you were nostalgic about being youthful and young and watching things. You weren't actually happy watching Tekalami Sesame 6 times a week.
the same episode.
Yeah, literally.
Pokemon at almost
No,
4.
you weren't happy with that. Like,
the
come on.
rerun. No, I think I was happier because that choice wasn't available. But I think we as humans, the biggest marketing employers, choice is what you need. You want more choice. So therefore you can have these subscriptions. You're going to buy this subscription to Disney and then to Now TV and then to Amazon Prime and then to blah, blah, and then blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? To a point where Netflix is going to come out with AI thing and they go, you get the most choice. And we think we want choice, but we actually don't.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think
Yes.
that's a good point. And that's why the CEO of Starbucks is now reducing the menu of Starbucks.
There you
Because
go.
Starbucks was losing money because it was crippling choice. I.e., they would come there, and in front of the till. They would take time. This is how nuanced businesses get, especially large scale businesses. That time that they took away from ordering meant that they could serve just one less customer. Wow. So he realized if you reduce the menu and just give it really simple things, you were making quicker decisions and therefore you were able to see a lot more customers.
That's so
So
interesting.
choice, yeah, I agree with you about choice. What I
Yes.
disagree with you about is the idea of good content not being, or rather too much content not being as good or compelling as simple content or something like SABC. And why, maybe not disagree with you, but what I'd rather ask you is, what was good?
On SABC.
No. As in,
Backstage on ETV was
no, not
unreal.
actually.
Yeah.
All right, well, great show.
Yeah.
It wasn't not so much what, as in, what was good in the sense of what were you enjoying?
Yes.
Because I don't think you were enjoying the content per se. I think what you were enjoying was a time. I really do. I think it was a time.
I think our level of our level of dopamine from watching stuff has normalized to quite high. You know?
Oh, yeah.
So like if I put on Shogun in 2024, that's one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But when I was like 12 watching Takalani Sesame, I mean not 12.
When I was 19, watching Tekalami Sesame.
When I was 12 watching Dragon Ball Z, I was like, this is awesome because my level of dopamine that I got from watching a show was here. And therefore I didn't, when I watched, when I turned on the TV at 5:30 in the morning to watch Channel O, I was like, this is amazing. I'm
Yeah.
watching some like Kwaito music video. I'm like, I love this. You know?
100%. But-
I wouldn't watch it now, you know, but at the time I was like, that's great. So I think it always levels up. It has to level up. It has to level up.
Always.
Yeah.
But the thing is, again, I think that's a false positive. And why I say that it's a false positive is
Yes.
the human experience, the lived human experience is effectively an increase in dopamine in every respect. To fact, just living, you will always want more. So if I tell you, if I told you when you were 15, here's £1,000 a month job, you'd be like, oh my God, that's amazing. If I told you that in 2025, you'd be like, is this slave labor? Like, get the
Sorry,
fuck out of my...
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's human experience. Human experience is consistently increasing the threshold of the things that we find acceptable and want.
Yeah.
So Netflixes of the world, which is again another great tool for learning because you watching things like the social media or the social network and Founder, great movie.
Yes, sure.
So interesting about how people build their businesses, what they did, the mistakes they made in these movies is so great and so interesting. But the Netflix of the world have figured out that humans are always progressing towards essentially a dopamine demise. It's we're on the train to maximize dopamine, and if you can tap into that, that's the human experience. You're going to be wealthy.
Yeah,
because it's literally the human experience.
That's a good point.
We actually mentioned
really
a lot of
good
them.
ones.
Yeah,
We just go through them quickly.
Yeah.
So Canva, ChatGPT,
Captions.
Intuit, QuickBooks,
Squarespace,
CapCut.
Wix.
I'm not sure if you mentioned, but
CapCut.
you use it. It's really good. Wix is also awesome.
Netflix, books.
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah,
there's
Outliers.
some gold there, guys.
Oh my God.
Oh, we dropped
Guys,
some. dropped some
Give me a
nuggets.
piece of any company you start.
Yeah,
Because of how much knowledge
we
give
want a
you.
percentage. thank you so much. But guys, thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you and see you at the next one.
Love you.
Bye bye.
Mind your goddamn business.